welcome to the Crooked Letter Sports Podcast, the show about Mississippi sports and the folks who play them. I'm Tyler Cleveland, joined as always by my co-host and dad, Rick Cleveland, a writer for Mississippi Today. Dad, it's here. I mean, it happened. The opening weekend of college football and high school football is in the books. I am still bleary-eyed from how much football I watched, consumed over the weekend. The girlfriend was out of town. Mom was out of town. I mean, it was pretty much a cornucopia of good games at the high school, college level. Boy, how much fun was that?
I watched a lot of it, I'll tell you that much. I had TV timeouts in my nightmares.
Man, we're going to do it one Saturday. We're going to sit there and time it. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I'm not doing it from 11 a.m. to the last West Coast game. We'll just have to do one game and assume they're all like that, because I don't think I could sit there timing commercials like that.
You know, the one thing I've noticed, Tyler, is that you notice them way, way more when you're at the event, when you're at the game.
Yeah, it's rough. We both went to that Mississippi State Southern game down in Hattiesburg, and yeah, I mean, the amount of time that everybody's just standing around is pretty ridiculous. I'll tell you what makes me notice it more than anything, I mean, whether you're in person or watching on TV, is, you know, I'm not used to commercials now. I mean, I used to be used to, you know, watching commercials, and now I've got Netflix and Prime and, you know, everything else where it's all commercial free. So yeah. I'm not, you know, it's tough for me, but I guess that's the last great bastion of advertising in a visual medium is live sports.
Well, the one thing I've noticed, the one thing you can do at home is flip channels, and, you know, there's 3 or 4 games at once. But I swear there was one time Saturday when I flipped.
You had like 4 games going?
I flipped 3 times, and they were all on commercial break.
Oh, man. It is what it is. Let's get to the games themselves, which are much more entertaining than those damn commercials. We'll start with the game we went to, Mississippi State and Southern Miss. Both of you, you know, we drove down there for the game. Mississippi State ended up on top 34-17, blowing out Southern Miss in the second half after a pretty close first half. Pretty mistake-free for both teams in the first half. Second half,
State made some. I mean, they had some.
They had the botch punt,
and they had big penalties too.
Man, well, we'll get to that. I gave them a grade. I gave everybody a grade, and I'll start with Mississippi State. I gave them a B+. They rolled up 465 total yards of offense. Would like to see them force a few more turnovers on defense. They forced 1 in the game. But the defense was much improved. There's no doubt about it. Held Southern Miss to 2.9 yards per carry and 5.1 yards per pass attempt, which are pretty damn good numbers. The 14 penalties for 119 yards, you got to clean that up. But I thought overall, both teams were improved. I'll say that.
That's my big takeaway. I think both teams are better. I think when Southern Miss gets to Sunbelt play, that Braylon Braxton they're going to win some games because of him. I think he's a terrific player.
Yeah, I think you just got to keep him healthy.
He's a really good athlete.
And I know they like the backup Liddy, but I'd like to see Braylon Braxton stay healthy. I think you're right. I think he's going to help them win games.
And State is just better up front on both sides of the ball. Their front 7 has looked really good on defense, and their secondary. I mean, their secondary is I think it's the strength, maybe the strongest part of the team. They are long and fast, and Southern could get no separation.
Yeah. Well, I thought Chapin looked pretty good too.
Yeah, State looks better. I mean, it looks like that they increased their NIL, and guess what?
They increased the talent.
They did.
Right. Looks like they've increased the talent level.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Up in Oxford, Saturday night, Ole Miss kind of got off to a little sluggish start, but they ended up just absolutely routing Georgia State 63-7. I gave the Ole Miss Rebels an A- in the game. I thought it was ultimately dominant. I mean, they outgained them 695 to 260, which is just as lopsided as it gets. The only downside being they gave up 100, almost 200 rushing yards to Georgia State. But hell, looking at the running back room at Georgia State, I can kind of see why. I mean, there's a couple of really good players from there.
Yeah, one we're very familiar with.
Branson Robinson, former Germantown standout, who transferred from Georgia. I mean, he was like, at one point, he was rated as the number one running back coming out of high school that year. So now he's for the life of me, I can't figure out why he's not at, Southern Miss or Ole Miss or, somewhere like that. I mean, he could play. I think he's good enough. He certainly looked good enough the other night along with the other two backs they have.
He looked good in the national championship game 2 years ago when they got in the fourth quarter and just ran over everybody. I mean, he's a big-time talent. Looks like a Herschel Walker clone.
Yeah. I think we're going to find out a lot more about Ole Miss this week when they travel to Kentucky. Kind of excited about that.
And we'll find out more about Mississippi State. And boy, I can't tell you how big a game that is.
It's a massive game. It's a massive game. And we're going to get to next week's games. Yeah. I want to finish up with some loose ends from the weekend. Jackson State got off to a good start, beat Hampton 28-14. Valley was a tough luck loser to Southern 34-29. But elsewhere around the country, there were some massive games. Arch Manning made his debut against Ohio State. They lost 14-7 at Columbus, which is, I guess I wasn't surprised that they lost by a touchdown on the road against the defending national champs in his first real collegiate start. But I felt like they would have scored more points. They would have a little bit more success. If you'd have told me that Ohio State was only going to score 14, I would have told you before the game that Texas was going to win.
I would have too. I still haven't seen the game. I TiVo'd it, but I haven't watched it. And
I just watched the lowlights.
Yeah, Arch looked like a guy making his first start.
I think they'll bounce back from that. They got UTSA this week, I think. I just feel like they're going to, as he gets more comfortable. I don't know. We could very well see that game again at the end of the year.
You sure could. And I think Texas pretty much dominated the stats. They gained more yards, and what they didn't do was get it across the goal line. And
right.
They had, fourth and goal at the one, didn't get it in.
They had many, many opportunities.
Yeah.
I don't know how many possessions they had in that game, but you score 7 points, that's not good enough.
Well, the same two teams could have played Saturday at Austin, and
could have been different, you're right.
It would have been probably the same result.
I will say that Ohio State defense does look pretty stout from what I could tell.
Yeah, they probably got 8 of the 11 starters who will be in the NFL.
Just 8, huh?
Well, maybe 9 or 10.
Wouldn't surprise me. Elsewhere, we may have to downgrade Alabama to a Category 4 storm because they got beat up in Tallahassee by Florida State. I know it was a close game and it ended up 31-17. Not used to seeing the guys.
They got physically abused.
That and what's crazy about it is I'm not used to seeing the guys with the numbers on their helmets missing tackles. That's just not something it's almost shocking to see it. But, man, they struggled to tackle. They couldn't really block.
The thing about tackling, they missed a bunch of tackles, but they also didn't have that normal Alabama pursuit, it seemed like to me. They were slow getting to the ball. They've got issues. And unless Florida State is the most improved team in the history of college football.
I think they may be. I'll be honest with you. That Castellanos dude, the quarterback's really good. And, he talked that smack over the offseason. He said, Nick Saban's not here to save you, and nobody's scared of Alabama. And then he backed it up on the field and just completely dominated. Do you think that Alabama is going to have to slide down the bench in the SEC at this point? It's been them and Georgia at the top for the past couple of years, and for years before that, it was just them.
Well, I'll tell you, I do think right now they're maybe the 5th or 6th or maybe 7th best team in the SEC. And by the way, I think LSU may be the best.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned them. We're going to talk about them next. I will say I don't think anybody's afraid of Alabama at this point. I think it's just another game on the schedule. If you got to play them in Tuscaloosa, you feel it's still a big challenge. But I don't think anybody's fearing them over anybody. You know what I mean?
I don't know if we can quite say yet that Alabama's just another game on the schedule.
I mean, I'd rather play them than, say, LSU or Tennessee or somebody like that. I don't know.
LSU or Texas or Georgia.
Right. Hell, maybe Ole Miss. We'll see.
LSU
beat Clemson 17-10 on the road, claiming their Death Valley is more impressive than Clemson's Death Valley. That game was a good one. Damn good one.
Yeah, probably the best game I saw this weekend.
I mean, 17-10 is a football score. Love that. Both teams playing really good defense. I think both of those teams probably playoff teams.
Probably
just watching it.
Probably so. But I tell you what, LSU checked all the boxes. Nussmeier's really good at quarterback, and boy, their defense has so much speed.
Yeah, I think their defense is really, really good. I mean, you held Clemson to 10 at home.
That guy Perkins.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Pretty good.
I'd like to be his agent.
It was kind of a mixed bag for the SEC if you look at it. I mean, like we mentioned, LSU wins, but I mean, South Carolina wins the Beamer Bowl, beats Virginia Tech.
They're good.
They are, but it was, like I said, Florida State beat Alabama up pretty good down there in Tallahassee, and Texas lost the marquee matchup of the weekend. So I guess this is a trend. I don't know if it's going to make the one weekend doesn't make a season, but the trend that started the last 2 years kind of continues. The playing field seems to be even.
Yeah, I will say this about Texas: there's probably 120 other Division I teams that would have lost Saturday at Columbus.
Probably.
Yeah. So I ain't writing them off.
Well, no, you don't write them off, but I'm just saying it seems like the shine is off the SEC as far as, I mean, it's still the premier conference, but I mean, it ain't like it's 5 or 6 years ago where it's just utterly dominant across the board.
No doubt.
Dad, looking ahead to this week a little bit, like we mentioned, that Arizona State at Mississippi State game, I feel like is a make or break game for Mississippi State, just because if you look at the rest of the schedule and the way it shapes up, they've started 1-0. You get to 2-0, you start feeling pretty good about possibly making a bowl game and getting the momentum really rolling on this thing. A loss, you're 1-1 with an extremely daunting path to another 5 wins.
Well, I think it would be. I think it would be huge because Arizona State's really good. I mean, are they ranked top 15?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're a really good team. So getting them at home, and if I'm State, I'm hoping for a really humid night in Starkville, something that Arizona State wouldn't be used to. And,
yeah. Wow.
But anyway, I think it's a winnable game for them, and I think it would be great for Mississippi State if they were able to win, because I do think it would put them to where a bowl actually is
within reach. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm excited for that one. That's probably the game I'm looking forward to the most this weekend. The other games, Jackson State at Southern Miss, is going to be fun, and Ole Miss at Kentucky should be. I mean, I know Ole Miss wants to pay Kentucky back, but I mean, this is a Kentucky team that won at home over Toledo by 7 last week, and I don't think this is the same Toledo team that they had last year.
Who knows?
So
who knows?
I mean, yeah, no, it'll be interesting to watch.
Ole Miss needs to go up there and take care of business.
Yes, and if they do, they should be set up pretty nice going into some of their bigger games later this month, especially that LSU game.
Let's talk about that Jackson State Southern game a minute. Who would you make the favorite, and by how much?
Well, Southern Miss by 9.5. I mean, I think Jackson State's a good football team. I'm not overlooking them in the least bit. But what I saw from Southern Miss last weekend, I mean, especially early in the game where they were still fresh, they were able – not only were they getting a pass rush against State early on, they were getting a push in the running game between the tackles, which is something you didn't see at all the past couple of years. I think they're – improved enough that they're going to take care of business, and I would make them about 9.5, 10-point favorite over Jackson. I don't by any means think it's going to be some big blowout.
Well, I would make them less than that, 4 to 6 point favorite. I mean, Jackson State's won 10 straight football games.
Yep.
I mean, they go. I guarantee you, they're going down there expecting to win.
Expecting to win.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be an entertaining game.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I think it's going to be – I mean, I don't know what the line will end up being. I would imagine it'll be closer to 2 touchdowns in Vegas. But I think that Jackson State will be competitive. My deal is that, as I was saying, like Southern Miss was competitive with Mississippi State early in that game, right? A lot of that was due to Mississippi State penalties and the turnover on the punt. But I think Southern Miss – much in the same way that they ran out of steam and couldn't hang with Mississippi State, that's the way it will be with Jackson State. I think the starting 11 are pretty close. I think after that, you start getting into depth issues.
We'll see. Yeah. I think it's going to be a close game.
Yep. Speaking of close games, I wanted to quickly talk about some of the high school football because, my God, we watched Tupelo and Brandon, which turned into a runaway. Tupelo ended up winning 36-15 after a pretty close first half. Tupelo playing like without a quarterback. I mean, they just put J.J. Hill just direct snap, and we're just running it. And he's damn good, by the way.
Yeah, he's real good.
But that was kind of the blowout. The better games were elsewhere. If you're looking at it, Starkville and Oak Grove was freaking incredible. I think I sent you the link to the live stream as Starkville was driving at the end of the game.
I saw the last drive, yeah.
They scored on the last play of the game, won 57-54. It was incredible. What an incredible debut for John Carr at Starkville, the coach, the new coach there. And I'm going to tell you, both these teams are going to be a handful in the North and the South. We very well could have been looking at a preview of the state championship game.
Well, let me
Tupelo.
What is it Corso says?
There's always Tupelo. Not so fast.
Not so fast, my friend. Tupelo, front 7 on defense.
They're very good.
Ridiculous.
They're very, very good. They gotta have a quarterback. They gotta get a quarterback. It's gonna be. I mean, eventually you're gonna get into a game against somebody who's hot, like Starkville. I mean, Starkville threw for like 500 yards and ran for like another, 200 the other night.
They ain't gonna do that against Tupelo.
No, but they've got some players and they're very well coached. And I just feel like if Tupelo finds somebody, I mean, and not that JJ can't throw the ball. I mean, he did a couple of times. He's got an arm. It's just a little erratic. I mean, he was like what you would expect with a guy that didn't know he was going to start a week before. But I don't think the guy that was playing quarterback for Tupelo is coming back. So they're going to have to figure something out.
Yeah.
The elsewhere, Dad, West Point beat Louisville 9-7 in the most West Point Louisville score I've ever seen. If it wasn't 3-2, it'd be 9-7. That's just fun. That's just fun football. I can only imagine what that game was like. But, yeah, that's been a fun rivalry. And, Louisville's got the better of them a couple of times. But, man, West Point is they're not going anywhere, are they?
No, well, neither one of those programs is going anywhere. They're always going to be good. They're always going to be physical. They're always going to be good on defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of them.
Yeah.
All those teams, you could just kind of rubber stamp every team in the Golden Triangle like that, except maybe Starkville, who's putting up a million points. Dad, there were some other games around the state I wanted to shout out. I've considered these games to be of significance just because of who it was and how they won. First of all, shout out to West Harrison, the Hurricanes, who finally knocked off Poplarville 34-18. That is and West Harrison is they're a 7A school, but Poplarville is year in, year out one of the best programs in the state. So for them to win like that, especially to put up 34 on them, is pretty impressive. And speaking of smaller schools upsetting bigger schools, Shannon, a 28-10 winner over Olive Branch. How about this? The Lanier Bulldogs, 28, Harrison Central, 12. That's a JPS school going down there and beating up on.
Go ahead, Lanier.
I know, a 7A school. DeSoto Central in the sign of the times. DeSoto Central beat South Panola 42-39. Unbelievable because they're not a football school. Columbia, a 22-21 winner over Hartfield Academy. Hartfield's been kind of the cream of the crop there for a little while.
And that game was at Hartsfield.
It was.
That's
the Wildcats.
Heck of a win for Columbia.
It is. It's fun. And then Clinton beat Warren Central 45-13. Considering everything that's happened with Clinton in the offseason, we've talked about it in this space before with, a bunch of their players leaving to go to JA and the coach, Carr leaving them for Starkville. They come out of the gate and just absolutely smoke Warren Central, which is one of their biggest games of the year. So congratulations to the Arrows.
Yeah. All I kept hearing in the off season is not only they're going to have a new coach, but that they had players leaving en masse, mainly to JA, and seems like they had some left.
I think they rallied. Yeah. They rallied around what they had left, and kind of proud of them for that. So congratulations, Dad. I know this week 2, it seems like, is turned into the new week 1. Like, we have all these premier games in week 1, week 2. The slate drops off a good bit in terms of, exciting games to watch.
Except in Mississippi.
In Mississippi. That's what I was going to say. Elsewhere, I think it's just Iowa State, Iowa, and Michigan, Oklahoma are the 2 other games. You like anybody in those games? I don't think any corn will survive the Iowa State-Iowa game. I think there are people just going to be smashing ears of corn up there. And in terms of Michigan, Oklahoma, I think that's a complete toss-up. Would love to see Oklahoma get some wins because, I think they play a high-profile game. Is that at Oxford or is that Norman?
That's in Norman.
In Norman, yeah.
Yeah.
Dad, is there anything else you're looking forward to this weekend?
Well, it's still 3 weeks off, but I am already getting geared up for the Ryder Cup. I think it's going to be just awesome. And I saw where the Europeans came out with their captain's picks, and looking at the 2 teams, I'd make Europe the favorite.
Yeah. Well, we're going to win this thing. We got Scotty Chef. It looks like, and as you pointed out kind of off air, that it looks like the same team that beat them last go-round.
And they're all playing well right now.
That's good. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I feel like, look, I would try not to read into it too much because it's still a couple of weeks off. It is the same weekend as LSU at Ole Miss, which is kind of a bummer. But
hopefully it'll be a night game.
I think it's a flex, so they could flex it to 4:30 or 6. I think.
Yeah.
I've been watching that intently because that's a game you're never going to miss, a LSU Ole Miss game. But if you were going to, the Ryder Cup would be one reason I would think you might flip over.
Yeah.
But as you said, plenty of damn TV timeouts to switch back and forth. So I'm sure we'll get to see it all. That's about all the time we got this week. Thanks everybody for listening. Just a reminder, you can keep up with all of Rick's latest writings over at MississippiToday.org. We appreciate your time. We'll talk to you next week.